Am I loud and clear to both of you? On screen? Yeah, good. So we start with chemistry. We will have 4 chapters in chemistry in grade 9. Okay? And out of the 4 chapters, there will be 2 chapters which will be of inorganic chemistry, and rest of the 2 chapters will be atomic chemistry. The rest of the 2 chapters is something you should pay very good attention. उसको चला लो और भी गर्मी लग रहा है तुम्हें देख के. Press the one button. How can you sit there without the fan? Bring a comforter from home. वो भी रैप करके बैठो. Okay. Right. So the rest of the 2 chapters are very important. They will help you not only in chemistry but also in physics. This is something that you will study from, say, take over from grade 7 and all, but with a more in-depth concept. Understood? Shall we start? Very good. So your first chapter is matter in our surroundings. Something around topic is that, and the chapter has been truncated a lot. Like initially the chapter was quite large. Then CBSE fell in love with you people. Then it started truncating. They have truncated this and second chapter a lot. But concept wise, आपको समझ में आना चाहिए, because when you go to grade 11, a lot part of your what you call physical chemistry comes from here only. ठीक है? चलिए, कुछ concepts होंगे जिन्हें in detail पढ़ाऊंगा आपको, वो आपको आना चाहिए. Right? So our chapter is matter in our surroundings. So I will call this chapter as matter when I'll upload it on what you call YouTube. So this is your chapter 1, and this chapter talks about everything about matter. ठीक है, matter से बात शुरू होती है, तो ये है हमारा matter. What is it? It is a piece of my favorite black forest cake. ठीक है ना? Now don't you ask me why do you take black forest cake? मेरी मर्जी. The piece of black forest cake. Now this is matter. How do we quantify matter? Some of the definitions that we have come on learning about matter is anything that has got mass and occupies space. Not about volume, it occupies space, right? This marker pen is a matter. This will have some sort of mass and it will also occupy some bit of space. So this has been the conventional definition that we have been going on thinking about. So we say it has to have a property which is said to be mass, and it should occupy space. ठीक है ना? लेकिन एक थर्ड भी यहाँ पे डालेंगे. ये थर्ड हमारी तरफ से ले लो आप. थर्ड को हम ये कहते हैं can be felt. Now why was the third thing introduced? For example, if your matter is something called air, air has mass, but for you don't see air, right? You see this marker pen, you can see my head, you can see anything around you. आपको air दिखता नहीं है. So for your heart to believe although air has mass, this doesn't become very convincing for you. Occupy space, yes, air occupies space. This occupies space. If I put it here, it has occupied this much space of my palm. लेकिन air दिखता भी नहीं तो कहाँ से? तो ये वाला air के लिए बहुत fit होता है. Can be felt. When air blows, can you feel it? Yes. Like how comfortable you are feeling once you have switched on the fan. So that is matter. Have you understood? So this matter, everything in this universe is composed out of matter. And since we are studying chemistry, our objective will be to study matter in 2 perspectives. Okay? In 2 perspectives. One perspective would be that we would like to study matter in terms of the chemical properties of matter. Chemical properties. Okay, I'll not say chemical properties exactly. I would like to say the chemical classification first. Do you understand? Chemical classification matlab we got some matter. It can be stone, it can be anything. How do you classify it chemically? ठीक है ना? If I bring Piyusha to me, we can classify her in many ways. In terms of honesty, in terms of studiousness, in terms of dishonesty, in terms of naughtiness, in terms of cleverness, in terms of wit, in terms of humor, बहुत तरह है. तो उसी तरह मैटर को केमिकली भी क्लासिफिकेशन किया जा सकता है, एंड देयर कैन ऑल्सो बी अ फिजिकल क्लासिफिकेशन. I heard some footsteps, that's why I turned that side. Physical classification. When we talk about chemical classification, we would be seeing matter as element. ये हमारा अगले चैप्टर में आएगा. Element, compound and mixtures. We won't break our head on this now. This we will be breaking our head on chapter 2. And believe me children, this is your golden chance to have your fundamentals cleared. No matter whether you study with chemistry or not, this is your golden chance. इसके बाद आपको ये डिटेल लेवल में कोई क्लास नहीं पढ़ाएगा. तो अगर आज आप क्लियर हो तो आप हमेशा के लिए क्लियर हो. एंड यू विल हैव लॉट ऑफ स्टम्बलिंग आउट ऑन दीज थिंग्स, सो वी विल क्लियर. ठीक है. फिजिकल क्लासिफिकेशन में हम मैटर को क्लासिफाई करते हैं सॉलिड, लिक्विड एंड गैस. And this is what we will be studying in this chapter. So, ladies and gentlemen, have you understood what we have said so far? We're talking about matter. Matter is everything in this universe is composed out of matter. We're going to study matter is anything that has mass, occupies space and can be felt. Matter can be studied under two broad classification: chemical classification, physical classification. Chemically, matters are classified as elements, compounds, mixture, and physically as solid, liquid, gas. In this chapter, our point of interest would be on the physical classification. हम इसके ऊपर आगे चल के बात करेंगे इस चैप्टर में. In this chapter, in chapter 2, we will be going here. Understood? Very good. Come. So, the first thing that we will study now, the first thing about matter that we'll study, must have been that every school has started this chapter, okay? Right. So, we go from absolute top floor. Matter is composed of particles. Matter is composed of particles. At this level, we will be concentrating only on the word particles, particles, particles. Later on, this is just for your understanding. Later on, you will get to know that these particles are nothing but these will be either atoms or these will be molecules. पक्का सो गया होगा जय. Half day school is going on, right? Good. Composed of particles which are either atoms or molecules, but as of now do not use the word, okay? We will be using the word only particles, particles, particles. ठीक है? क्लियर है. मैटर में क्या है? मैटर में बहुत तरह के पार्टिकल्स है. अब इस पार्टिकल्स, नाउ आवर नेक्स्ट लेवल ऑफ कंसंट्रेशन विल बी ऑन दिस पार्ट. नाउ वी विल बी स्टडीइंग ऑन दिस. ठीक है. तो इफ यू सी इट इन द कंप्यूटर रूट डायरेक्टरी मेथड, सो इट इज मैटर के बाद वी आर गोइंग टू स्टडी अबाउट द फिजिकल क्लासिफिकेशन so far, and the physical classification further leads to us to study about particles. समझ में आया? ये लेवल पे अभी हम यहां पढ़ रहे हैं. ठीक है. नाउ द नेक्स्ट पार्ट दैट वी विल बी स्टडीइंग इज एविडेंस. दैट वाज व्हाट आवर डियर फ्रेंड वैभव वाज टेलिंग मी. एविडेंस दैट मैटर इज composed of particles. Matter is composed of particles. This is the. So here we will be talking about some illustrations. The book has some illustrations. He has done some illustration in lab today. So we'll talk about illustration. ऐसे कैसे आपको पता चलता है कि matter is composed of particles? So one of the common thing, a reagent that you will be studying a lot. Okay, इसका नाम लिख लो. That this is a chemical which is known as potassium permanganate. Potassium permanganate. The chemical formula of potassium permanganate is KMnO4. And write it the way I have written. K means potassium, Mn means manganese, O means oxygen. और ऐसे ही लिखिए आप potassium permanganate. Potassium permanganate is very common. People who have got your, your parental house or something, your independent house in your own father's village or town or wherever, and you might be having a tank where you take out water, and you will be taking out water from borewell, and there will be a tank. So that tank will have algae formations and all. In order to clean that tank, people will be putting lots of potassium permanganate on it. It's absolutely lavender pink in color. lavender, deep pink. I'll not say lavender, deep pink. Purple is the right word to use. So we put a lot of potassium permanganate. If you put potassium permanganate, this works as a very good filter. It actually will have all the dust and other particles settle down so that the water remains clean. ठीक है, समझ में आया? So let's see our first illustration. In our first illustration, what we do, we take a beaker, okay, and let's say the beaker has been filled up with water. Okay, the beaker has been. So these questions might come to you as case-based question. They'll tell you. So we took the beaker and we filled it up with water. After filling up with water, let's say a chunk of potassium permanganate crystal was dropped on it, which is purple in color. समझ में आ रहा है? तो potassium permanganate crystal was dropped on it. After some time, you will see the entire potassium permanganate. So the procedure is something like this. Number one, you actually filled it with water. Then number two, you dropped KMnO4, right? And number three, you will see KMnO4 dissolves. And how do you get to know dissolve? The entire color will turn pink. मतलब ये जो हमारा solution में इसको डालने के बाद आगे हमें क्या दिखाई देगा? आगे आपको ऐसा दिखाई देगा. The whole beaker now, instead of having the neutral color of water, now becomes pink in color. Right. The first observation out here tells that how was potassium permanganate, one crystal, was it able to change the color of the entire water, and slowly you will find that this crystal has disappeared. So one way we can understand is that this crystal must have broken down, dissolved है तो गया कहाँ? It's like Three Idiot. Taxi भेजी तो गया कहाँ? Runway. It's like that. Where has this potassium permanganate gone? The potassium permanganate has dissolved. So that much we have understood. Now in the next observation, what we do, we again take a beaker and we take the beaker of clear water, okay, clear water, and a drop of potassium permanganate from this water has been taken out and now put here, like this. समझ में आया? You will now observe that on this beaker, after some time, this is the same beaker, huh? This is beaker A, this is also beaker A, this is beaker B, this is also beaker B. The same beaker slowly has now become again pink. However, the tone may be a little bit lighter than this, but it has become pink. समझ में आया? Clear? Then you again take another beaker C, and you fill it up with water. इसको हमने पानी से भर दिया. And then you take out one drop from here now. One drop is taken out from here and dropped here. Slowly you will find that even this will lose its color and now become faint pink. But faint means you can keep on doing this process. But slowly and slowly you will find that the water is turning. So from here we get one observation that first what happened, KMnO4 dissolved and spread uniformly. ये बोल सकते हैं कि नहीं बच्चा? ठीक है, चुपचाप मत पढ़ो, चुपचाप पढ़ने I cannot talk all along. It has dissolved and spread uniformly. Out here we say the drop, that is the colored drop, dissolved uniformly, and the same we will hold for here also. The colored drop dissolved uniformly. मतलब कोई ना कोई चीज तो है इसके अंदर जो जाके फैल जाता है. ये ड्रॉप आगे जाके फैल जाता है, यूनिफॉर्मली फैल जाता है. इतना ही पता चला, इससे ज्यादा पता नहीं चला. समझ में आया? So what will be the explanation for this? The explanation for this would be potassium permanganate is also a matter, and it must be consisting of small particles, and the particles got evenly spread in our first observation. When we took out one drop of potassium permanganate solution, that was also matter, and it must also have particles. मतलब यहाँ पे क्या बोलेंगे, यहाँ इसके पास particles है, ये बोल सकते हैं, and water also has particles. ठीक है? Then what happened here? Let's say we call it particle P1 and P2. Here P1 mixed with P2. After that, what did you do? You actually took out a drop. This is also matter. It also has particles, and these particles are say P3. Water always have been P1, so here P3. So this is P1. So what happened here? P3 mixed in P1. Then you again took out another matter. So this is some particle P4. Why I am separating it with different? Because the concentration is changing. Are you getting it? The particle here need not be same as the particle here. Here the concentration is changing. It's become lighter. But water is always at P1. So here P4 mixed with P1. Are you getting the? And if you try to observe it more microscopically, something like this must be happening. These are our water particles, W, 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 and our potassium permanganate ones would be very cutie ones. They are all coming and occupying spaces in between them. देखो तो ऐसे ऐसे करके these are the KMnO4 particles, and they are occupying their spaces. As a result, they are getting mixed. भेलपुरी खाए हो ना, तो मुरमुरा के बीच में आप ये you give all those chopped onions and chopped chilies and all करते हो, spread होता है कि नहीं? पूरा spread हो जाता है. Where has the spread gone? You will find chilies are going and occupying their spaces, chana is going and occupying its spaces, matar is going and occupying its spaces. बिल्कुल वैसे ही यहाँ पे space है. This fellow came little bit late, so he occupied a space between them. Similarly, consider that he is the KMnO4, these two are water particles. घुस गया अंदर. Matter is composed of particles. Is illustration 1 understood by you? Water is also a matter. ऐसा मत समझो कि only KMnO4 is matter. Water is also matter. KMnO4 is also matter. Our job is to understand that do these matter, are these composed of particles? We need to find some evidence. So we took a lot of water and we dropped one small chunk of KMnO4. Entire water became pink. That means KMnO4 से कोई आदमी तो ऐसे निकला होगा, फैलो भागो करके पूरा फैल गया होगा. फिर हमने उस पिंक में से वन ड्रॉप फिर निकाला, फिर एक प्योर वाटर में डाला, अगेन पिंक हो गया, मतलब वहां से भी भागो करके भागा होगा. So कुछ something is going and spreading across. That something is nothing but particles. हमें उसी का evidence चाहिए. So this is evidence number 1. Strategic timeout for 30 seconds. If you have understood or not, as I gulp some water. A lot of drawing and illustration will be there. And you might be thinking, दादी माँ की कहानी काफी अच्छी होती है, सुनते जाओ. समझ में आया? Very good. अब एक और एविडेंस देखेंगे, ठीक है? इसको मिटाओ. Can I rub this part? Very good. Excellent kiddos. Hey, you all are all in same section. Vaibhav, you, Siddharth. So, how many sections?
Sir, I am the last section.
In your section, is there anyone who is here? In his section, Arav? No. You are in? A for अच्छा, B for बीमार. C means? C for खाए डंडा चार. ठीक है? Evidence number 2. And you and Anya are in the same section. Are in the same section. Wow. If I would have been the teacher, I would have first separated you two. Evidence 2. Acha, how about Glendale? Have they done some shufflings in your section? Very little mean.
Almost the same. Only 5 students are scattered here and 5.
He is with whom?
He is separated.
Separate. You are Jay separate. Yashvi still continues where she is.
Yeah.
And
GSF like bought a school. They because school was sold, so they bought a school. So that's why they have a policy that they should shuffle that many.
The policy is actually there should be less number of teachers. The more the teacher, the expense of the school goes up. The more are the number of sections. That's what they have done in even Sarthak's class also. In grade 10, they have actually compressed one section and broken that section and sent students to everywhere, just like refugees. बंटवारे के बाद हम पाकिस्तान चले गए, हम हिंदुस्तान चले गए. हाँ, चलो एविडेंस नंबर 2. Evidence number 2. Evidence number 2 is very interesting. हाँ, तो इसमें भी हमने पानी ले लिया एंड देन बड़े लोग, सोसाइटी के हाई क्लास लोग, हाउ मेनी क्यूब्स ऑफ शुगर वुड यू लाइक टू हैव? 1 क्यूब, 2 क्यूब्स. तो इसमें हमने क्या डाला? शुगर डाला. शुगर. यू शुड ऑल्सो नो, ये सब याद रखो बेटा धीरे धीरे. शुगर का केमिकल फॉर्मूला होता है C12H22O11. दिस इज शुगर. Just for your common sense. And glucose is C6H12O6. ग्लूकोज ये होता है, शुगर ये होता है. ठीक है, इसमें हमने शुगर डाला और शुगर डालते डालते थोड़ी देर बाद, if you put the sugar cubes out there, then what do you observe? Sugar cubes dissolved in water. Again सेम स्टोरी. अपना क्यूब कप में गिरने के बाद किधर गायब हो गया पता ही नहीं चला. आर यू अंडरस्टैंडिंग? इट डिसॉल्व इन वाटर. सो इज शुगर मैटर? द शुगर क्यूब इज मैटर? ऑब्वियसली. इज वाटर मैटर? यस, ऑब्वियसली. मैटर इज कंपोज्ड ऑफ पार्टिकल्स? यस, दे मस्ट बी. सो द शुगर क्यूब्स, द मैटर, द पार्टिकल्स ऑफ शुगर क्यूब इवनली स्प्रेड बिटवीन वाटर. देखो अभी कैसा रहता है. अब जरा मजेदार चीज देखो. से this is my again water particles. Say these are the water particles. ठीक है, W W W W. So what happened after you actually, ये इतना W आ गया, अभी हमारे sugar particles आ गए. So these are my sugar cubes which are blue. ये sugar cube, sugar particles, these are all the S1s. They have actually dissolved out here. ये यहाँ spread हो गए. Another example to let you know that matter is composed of particles and these particles actually spread across when two matters are brought in contact. If it is a liquid, so spread हो जाता है. कुछ और भी चीज यहाँ से पता चलता है. जरा सोचो तो क्या एक चीज पता चलता है. Matter is composed of particles, इससे पता चला. Matter is composed of particles, इससे भी पता चला. So let's write that statement. One statement we can now confirm based on 2 evidences. We can say that matter is composed of particles. But did you actually see anybody going and mixing out there? कोई दौड़ के जा रहा था, आपको दिखाई दिया क्या? दिखाई नहीं देता है. तो यहां एक एडजेक्टिव डाल देते हैं, टाइनी पार्टिकल्स. देख नहीं सकते हैं हम, लेकिन जाके स्प्रेड हुआ. क्या दिवांशु, नींद आ रहा है? हाँ, ऐसे होने से थोड़ी होगा. क्लास नोट्स लिख रहे हो कि नहीं? कुछ भी नहीं, सिर्फ कहानी सुन रहे हो बैठ के. What happened? You all have no energy or what? I find very less energy. आने से पहले, as I say, these are peak summers going on. Have shower and have some citrus drink एक पी के आओ, अच्छा लगेगा. I am around 3 times or more than your age, more than 3 times your age. पूरा घर का काम वाम करके आता हूँ, मुझे इतना स्टेमिना रहता है. मैं आपको पढ़ाऊंगा, इसके बाद एक क्लास पढ़ाऊंगा. इफ यू ऑल बिकम सो डल, आई एम सीइंग दीपांशु डल, ये डल, ये भी ऐसा कैसा. मतलब you all I have been teaching you for 1 year. I know your natural gestures. Somehow पता नहीं. केमिस्ट्री ऐसा ही रहेगा, कुछ नहीं कर सकते. केमिस्ट्री इज द लिटरेचर ऑफ साइंस. So you won't get numericals out here. We will get very less numericals. It's all about physical chemistry और inorganic chemistry. ऐसा ही रहता है, कुछ नहीं कर सकते. फिर भी मैं आपके लिए यही, मैं आपको children write down matter is composed of particles. मैं तो आपको draw करके I am taking the pain to do like this. ये किसके स्कूल में पढ़ाया है अब तक? Which all school? You. इतना drawing आपके स्कूल में नहीं हुआ होगा. Lab. Though so much of drawing nobody will do on board. I am doing that to keep you attracted. सर मत करो, आप भी सो जाओ. Okay, so matter is composed of tiny particles. This one we have understood. Something else also has come out from here. देखो आप participate करोगे आपको मजा आएगा, आप गलत बोल सकते हो उसमें कोई बात नहीं, पर आप participate तो करो. Something else also. What is that something else? These particles, ये जो particles है ना, इन particles के बीच में we always see that there is some space in between. Otherwise ये sugar बेचारा जाके कहाँ बैठेगा, है ना? So this is something else we found, that the particles have spaces in between them. Spaces in between them. This was evident here also. If you see here, these particles had spaces in between them. Water particle has spaces. Now my question to you, okay, how many of you know what is caramel? Caramel जानते हो क्या होता है? Anyone who must be making ice creams or cake, how many of you have made caramel with your hand? Then you will understand. Acha, caramel, what do we do? You go on making a highly concentrated solution of sugar. चीनी डालते रहो, डालते रहो, डालते रहो. थोड़ी देर बाद, do you think that the water, the sugar will dissolve? No. If you make full concentrated, after some time it will not dissolve. वो बाहर आ जाएगा. It has to take this much of water. If you want to do, you go and do. You go on putting sugar. After some time you will see sugar और जा नहीं रहा है, बाहर ही है. How do you make the sugar dissolve in it? First you will stir it. If you stir it, what are you doing? Moving the particles. But what is happening? Science लगाओ. How do you know you are making space?
Like it's the water level.
Oh, like this, if you do, you know that they will create space. No. क्लास 8 में आपने एक चीज पढ़ा था, दो चीज घिसने से क्या होता है? टू चीज फ्रिक्शन जनरेट्स हीट. What you wanted to do by heating, you are doing the preliminary stage of heating. If you stir, you are increasing. When you stir something, you put a temperature thermometer out there, you will see the temperature is going up. So as the temperature goes up, this is what we are going to learn. Their kinetic energies will go up. If their energies go up, ये फैलना शुरू करेंगे. It's just simple. Consider these as the students of the bus, your bus, or consider when a Indigo shuttle comes to take you right after you have landed from the aircraft. Everyone wants to be near the door. Have you seen that? After that, you need to stir it. So how does the stirring happen? Ma'am, please go inside. Please go inside. Then automatically tink, some more sugar particles. The person who was thinking that a separate shuttle will come to him, sir, please get up. He also goes up. Slowly you find the bus gets evenly packed. After that, no matter how much that person shouts, you won't allow any more person to get in. That is the condition when we say you are saturated now. Like you came to my class, you have got a brain. You come with empty brains, you will be taking gyan. If I go on teaching you for 4 hours, you will be saturated. इसके बाद आपके दिमाग में और नहीं घुसेगा. So initially, when you are dropping 2 cubes of sugar, आराम से पी लेगा. But अगर डालते जाओ, a saturation point will reach a saturation. But saturation is at a particular temperature. ये आगे पढ़ेंगे हम लोग. ये सब पढ़ना है तो ये समझना है. जैसे ही इस saturation को, okay, another way, how could you think of the Indigo bus example. Initially, very few people were inside the bus, and it appeared as if the bus is full because all of them are near the door. Doesn't it happen like that? Then suddenly the Indigo gentleman comes and says, ma'am, please go inside. Then a lot of people have gone. After some time, he has packed the first shuttle. And then he just says to the driver, go, doors are closed. I still want more person to get inside the bus. What is the option available? Heat. ऐसा दिमाग में क्लास में हो कि कहाँ हो यार? Squeeze करके बंद कर दिया बस को अभी. The heat is equal to, see, the Indigo person will not yell and abuse you. But if it was our bus conductor in our school days, he will say, but so ऐसे बोले, that is like heating only ना. अंदर जाओ. तो ऐसे अंदर जाएगा. जैसे आप लोग तो कभी सिटी बस में ट्रैवल नहीं किए हो. If you travel in city buses in Delhi and all, they'll say, oh भाई साहब कोई मिनिस्टर नहीं हो, आप अंदर जाओ. ऐसे अंदर जाओ ऐसे बोलेगा. That's just like heating. He's increasing the temperature and the particles are spreading apart. बस स्प्रेड करते करते, हाँ जी मैडम जी घुसो और ठूस दिया, अभी बंद हो गया. लेकिन मैं चाहता हूं और भी लोग अंदर जाए. ये हाथ मत उठाओ यार, ये क्लास नहीं है, जो बोलना है बोलो, साइंस है। गलत, हाँ,
You can have a bigger.
यू कैन हैव अ बिगर बस। आप बस का पीछे काट के और ज्वाइन करो, उसको अभी यहाँ अप्लाई करो। मैं चाहता हूं और शुगर अंदर जाए,
More water.
मोर वाटर डालो, डाइल्यूट द सोल्यूशन, अब और पिएगा वो। दिस इज हाउ यू स्टडी साइंस। सो आइदर वी कैन सेपरेट द स्पेसेस, लेकिन एक लिमिट है। यू कैन सेपरेट द स्पेसेस हाउ? फर्स्ट यू ट्राई टू पुट अ स्पून एंड यू ट्राई टू स्टर इट, दैट इज यू आर रेजिंग द टेम्परेचर, बट दैट टेम्परेचर राइज विल बी वेरी ग्रेजुअल। उसमें भी अगर नहीं गया, you immediately take this cup and put it inside a microwave oven. Now you'll see all sugar has got dissolved. ठीक है? After that, put some more sugar in it. जाएगा. Now take the cup back and put it in refrigerator. क्या होगा? Take the cup back and put in refrigerator. Chemistry अगर सीखना है, please spend time in your kitchen. Your kitchen is your first chemistry lab. I'll give you a nice example. पेट वेट खराब होने से, when you are having too much of say loose motion or diarrhea has happened, all of you all are given this ORS. You know ORS, oral rehydration solutions. What do you do with the ORS? It's nothing but a sugar salts powder. एक चुटकी नमक and 4 चुटकी चीनी. That's the combination that a village lady will do. You pour the ORS into this bottle. You take this bottle and you pour ORS. The moment you pour ORS, it will readily mix in it, and you are supposed to drink it. If anybody of you has ORS at your home today, I would like you to take one bottle of chilled water and then pour ORS. देखो तो क्या होता है, क्या होना चाहिए? Chilled water. Chilled water means conductor not yelling at you, indigo person not scolding you, and you are trying to put ORS, you are trying to put more children into the bus. Try and connect. What should happen?
It is separated from the water.
पूरा ORS नीचे सेटल होके बैठा रहेगा, मिक्स ही नहीं होगा, क्योंकि आपने बच्चों को डांटा ही नहीं ना। नहीं डांटते हो तो सब आराम से बैठे हुए हैं बस में, नया बच्चा आ ही नहीं पाएगा। The same bottle of ORS, the which was absolutely mixed, crystal clear, take the bottle and start chilling it. अगर गर्म करते मिक्स हुआ है, कॉमन सेंस अप्लाई करो ना, तो ठंडा करने से वो बाहर आ जाएगा। When you cool it, these will contract, and as they contract, they'll kick these two out. बाहर निकल, like we used to do. Whenever the conductor and ma'am used to sit that side, junior guys used to say, the seat is mine now. The entire bus seat is mine. Are you understanding? Typically, metro rail, if you travel, मैम थोड़ा साइड, बॉम्बे लोकल ट्रेन थोड़ा साइड आ जाइए, एवरीवन विल सिट. आफ्टरवर्ड्स इफ दे डोंट अलाउ यू टू सिट, you can't sit. So either you can increase, this is what we learn in solubility. So whenever you say this mixture is saturated, saturated मतलब अब और चीनी नहीं जाएगा, then you should always say what is the temperature, what is the pressure. नहीं जाएगा बोल रहे हो ना, इसको हीट कर दो और चीनी जाएगा। नहीं सर, हीट नहीं कर सकते हो, एक टेम्परेचर में एक सोल्यूबिलिटी है। Whenever temperature is increased, solubility also increases. If temperature is dipped, solubility reduces. Common sense. In cold days, take one chilled glass of milk. All of you must have had this, if you go to Mahabaleshwar and all, you bring that strawberry squash and लेके आते हैं ना हम लोग macro. So take some strawberry squash from there, the syrup, and you put it on milk. You will actually see it going like a small world. Yeah, you can see the path, and after some time you will see that the entire squash has got dissolved. लेकिन वही ठंडा रहेगा ना, the strawberry will go टक नीचे गिर जाएगा. Milk will be पूरा white, नीचे pink ring होके बैठा रहेगा, क्योंकि milk particles ने अपना जगह खोला नहीं है स्ट्रॉबेरी को अंदर घुसने के लिए. फिर आप क्या करते हो? Friction, temperature, rising. Once temperature rises, they start gaining energy. और जैसे उनमें एनर्जी आ जाता है, आ जाओ भाई भाई साहब, बैठ जाओ, आप भी बैठ जाओ यार, आप भी बैठ जाओ, सब मिक्स होना शुरू हो गया. क्लियर हुआ? So particles have spaces between them, और ये spaces आगे जाके बहुत इंपॉर्टेंस देगा हमें. इसी को हम आगे जाके पढ़ेंगे, intermolecular space, and this will be one of a very big property which will which will actually be the striking property for whether something is a solid, something is a gas, or something is a liquid. समझ में आ रहा है? Now just apply some common sense. Let us take some solid iron in my hand, solid iron, and there is an iron cube. On that iron cube, I put 1 drop of potassium permanganate. जाएगा क्या अंदर? वो solid है ना, वो दिल का कंजूस होता है, उसका इंटरमोलिकुलर स्पेस इज वेरी लेस. वही आयरन की जगह दूध ले लो और KMnO4 डाल दो, जाएगा? बिल्कुल जाएगा. और इफ यू टेक अ गैस इन दिस रूम, if you just put one agarbatti, that agarbatti's fragrance or the incensing fragrance spreads all across the room. Can you track where it went? Gases सबसे दिलदार होते हैं. भाई साहब आपके घर में जगह, आ जाओ जी, आ जाओ, सबको लेके आ जाओ, सब आ जाओ, सब आ जाओ. That's why when your neighbor is cooking biryani and you are mixes. समझ में आया? But if that neighbor is having some piece of iron or eraser at his home, वो सुगंध आता है क्या? वो नहीं आता है ना. नहीं. क्लियर हो रहा है? ये दूसरा एविडेंस हुआ आपका. मैटर्स हैव, तो मैटर इज कंपोज्ड ऑफ पार्टिकल्स. तो इस पार्टिकल्स को अभी हम लोग थोड़ा सा सुंदर करेंगे और यहाँ पे एक एडजेक्टिव डालेंगे, टाइनी पार्टिकल्स. सर हु टेल्स यू दे आर टाइनी? बिकॉज आई एम नॉट एबल टू सी देम विथ माय नेकेड आई, बट डेफिनेटली देयर विल बी सम ब्रैट्स हु हैव एक्चुअली गॉटन स्प्रेड देमसेल्व्स इन दैट बीकर ऑफ वाटर. So tiny particles, and the particles who were there in water, they were very kind hearted that they said, please come and spread between us. So the particles also have space in between them. Clear? If you say that there is space between water particles, can you not also say there is space between potassium permanganate particles also? They also allowed a water particle to get inside. खाली अपने आप को senior समझ के बोलते हो, we made 2 kindergarten children sit between us. The kindergarten children were also kind hearted that they allowed you to sit between them. Think it in that manner. So matter is composed of particles which are tiny and they also have space in between them. Have you understood? And don't make that zombie face. Yes. खुशी से. ये समझ में नहीं आया? What great science have you learned here यार? समझ में आया? बहुत अच्छी बात है. तीसरा, third illustration. समझ गया मैं? I have to keep you alive in chemistry class. Yashvi will now not speak anything in this session. No, that's Anya. Anya is now like this. I actually cannot know whether her screen is frozen because she doesn't even blink her eye.
She's very interested.
Sometimes actually you have to, the best way is I should ask her keep a fan or something beside you so that is rotating. That makes me feel the screen is not frozen. Chalo, last wala. Have you seen this flower called jasmine? देखा है ना jasmine? Jasmine के pollens होते हैं, सामने pollens होते हैं. You have the petals and you have a big stigma or whatever is called coming out, और उसमें pollens रहता है, ठक करके मारने से लग जाता है. So let's take like Peppa Pig, a muddy puddle of water. ऐसे water ले लो, water puddle, और इसमें डालते हैं कुछ pollens. कैसे pollens? Pollen 1, pollen 2, pollen 3, pollen 4, pollen 5, pollen 6, pollen 7 ऐसे. ठीक है? And you start observing the motion of these pollens. इसमें कोई आपको मोशन नहीं आएगा, आपको रैंडम मोशन आएगा. दिस पर्टिकुलर पोलन, लेट्स से वी पिक अप वन पोलन एंड वी से दैट दिस पोलन विल गो हियर, आफ्टर सम टाइम यू विल फाइंड हियर, देन इट विल गो हियर, देन कहीं यहाँ पे जाएगा, कहीं यहाँ पे आएगा. सो दिस पर्टिकुलर मोशन इज अ रैंडम मोशन. या वेरी गुड, random motion. School teaches so nicely, sir. Yes, such a boring thing. There's a random motion, and similarly, if it's a sunny morning on a winter night or on a winter day, if it's a sunny morning and this is the curtain of your house, this is the curtain rod and this is the curtain, and if you see the broad daylight coming inside, because by that time, like a lazy fellow, you must be sleeping. Okay, you are sleeping, you're snoring, and you say, oh, close the curtain. So as soon as the curtain opens up, you'll always say some sort of dust particles are always there. So you'll see some dust particles, having random motion out here. Or if you go to an in-orbit mall or go to a PVR multiplex and you look at the projector beam that is falling on the screen, then you'll see some particles which are having motions in this manner. Now this motion was discovered by a person called Robert Brown, and so it's called Brownian motion. If Anusha would have discovered it, we would have studied it as Anushian motion, but she was not born at that time. Random motion, this motion is known as Brownian motion.
This is the third example, right?
No, this is not third example. We are studying third example. This is one aspect of that. Right. So Brownian motion. What is Brownian motion? Brownian motion means random motion of particles. Random motion. Our question. So where did we see the Brownian motion? We saw the Brownian motion on certain pollens. These were pollens, and this was water. अब सवाल आता है, sir, and this is say stagnant water. Stagnant water. Okay, this is a puddle. Why is this Brownian motion happening? So if you consider the pollen like something like a soccer ball, it's something like as if the soccer is being dribbled. Tak karke ye koi udhar maar raha hai, wo udhar maar raha hai, just like that. Aimlessly the dribbling is going on. So why is the soccer ball getting dribbled? Sir, there are some soccer players who are actually dribbling this ball. If I put that analogy here, ball to samajh mein aa gaya. The pollen is the ball. वो सॉकर प्लेयर कौन है? हाँ, वाटर पार्टिकल्स है. There are what you call as water particles, and these particles are actually moving in high speed. And as they are moving in high speed, they are colliding. They are colliding with these particular pollens. You are unable to see the water. Why did we take pollens? So that the pollens can be seen with your naked eye. The same, sir, that football thing was happening here. Yes, it was happening here also. But you can't see the two particles. Here deliberately we took one particle which is light enough but can be distinguished by your eye. A pollen is very small. But if you sprinkle some pollens on water, you can exactly make out yellow, red or purple pollens. वो एक जगह तो नहीं रहते हैं. ई हो रहे हैं. How is that happening? That means water particles are continuously striking against them, colliding against them, and causing a motion which is a Brownian motion. So Brownian motion का cause क्या है? Brownian motion it is happening due to collision between moving matter particles. Now if one particle is visible by your eyes, then you see that there is a Brownian motion, a collision between moving matter particles. And this brings us to the third and the last conclusion. So the first one was what? Matter is composed of tiny particles. After all this Ram Kahani, this is the takeaway. Matter is composed of tiny particles. Number two, these particles have space in between them. Spaces in between them. I wrote at least 3 boards. You all have not even written 1 page. And third, the particles are in continuous motion. The Brownian motion is random motion, also known as zigzag motion. You know why this word zigzag came? There's a lace available for hand work and crafts, zigzag lace. Zigzag motion. समझ में आया? बहुत अच्छी बात है. आप लोग बड़े होनहार बच्चे हो.
The particles of matter also have force and attraction. There's also the textbook was written that the particles also.
That is called SJ. What you are suffering from. SJ means suspend judgment. Now listen, we will come to that. Prejudiced. Because you saw the movie clip already before the movie was released. So now you are thinking, sir, when is that scene going to come? It will come. Hand rakho baba.
So this is the third example, right?
कल बकुल को टाइट किया. कुछ नहीं, कंटिन्यूअस रैंडम मोशन में रहता है वो. बकुल
सामने लेफ्ट साइड है तो ये सामने.
हाँ.
Music is chatting, sir.
हाँ.
Said, yeah. I got this. Oh, even I'm good. Yeah, I know. He told about.
Whenever you meet him, you just tell that he is very, very dangerous. He punishes ruthlessly. Say like that. Yesterday I have done him. He
What?
said, "Give me one more chance."
What? What did he do?
पहला दिन खूब उड़ा था. So first day I said, "Urofai." Next day, loaded. नीचे बिठाया उसको.
What did he do, sir?
अरे एनी टाइम यार कुछ भी पढ़ाओ ऐसे ही हाथ उठा लेगा और कुछ ना कुछ क्वेश्चंस हैं उसको. Unwanted questioning. Yesterday I have said,
Continuously he'll be asking you random questions.
हाँ कोई लिंक नहीं है. You're teaching Ramayana, suddenly he comes and says, "Sir, what the Cinderella's pumpkin became what, sir?" ऐसा सवाल पूछता है. ठीक है? हो गया?
Yes, sir.
So, so we will now write characteristics of matter particles. Okay, characteristics. So evidence is gone. So characteristics. Characteristics means properties. Characteristics. दीपांशु साहब सो तो नहीं रहे हैं? सब ठीक ठाक है तो? हाँ, मुझे लगा आप सो गए. Characteristics of matter particles. अरे you should have mercy on me. Every year I am teaching matter. Matter करते करते कितने matter निकल गए यहाँ से. Number one, same stories. All these three you will write. 1, 2 and 3 are same as before. ठीक है? This, see, Siddharth, what we were trying to say here, you said no, there's something called fourth. Yes, you are correct. But particles, okay. The fourth one was not written here because we did in the illustrations we did not find any evidence of fourth one. That evidence we will see later. So we will write the fourth also. Fourth one was not something that we studied in these three illustrations. In these three illustrations, we studied about whether they have tiny particles, spaces between them, and are in continuous motion. So here I'll write one more, fourth one, that the particles of matter attract each other. Wow, attract each other. So if you want to study something like this is say a matter particle. This is one class of matter. Okay, let's say if this is water, then these are all matter of water particles. So this is, sorry, particles of water. Particle 1, let's say this is particle 2, let's say this is particle, let's say this is particle 3, and this is particle 4. What I try to mean by that, they always attract each other. So you will find P1 will be attracting P2 towards itself. There will be an attraction between these two also. Similarly, there will be an attraction between these. Now you may ask a question, sir, won't there be an attraction between these two? Yes, there will be an attraction between these two also. Maybe a little bit weaker because the distance is far away. है ना? दूर रहने से attraction घट जाता है. या इन दोनों के बीच में attraction होगा, इन दोनों के बीच में. And there will be another line of particles also. यहाँ भी particle रहेगा, यहाँ भी रहेगा, यहाँ भी रहेगा, यहाँ भी रहेगा. So if you see, there will be a complete web of attractions. ये इधर खींचेगा, ये भी इधर खींचेगा, ये इसको खींचेगा, ये इसको खींचेगा, ऐसा बहुत चलेगा. So this particular thing, as I told you, one property is intermolecular space. Later on we will study this as intermolecular. Inter-school tournament means the tournament is being held between two schools. So intermolecular force of attraction. कैसा attraction? मॉलिक्यूलों के बीच का आकर्षक फोर्स, इंटरमॉलिक्यूलर. और कैसा स्पेस था? इंटरमॉलिक्यूलर स्पेस. IMS एंड IMFOA, ये दो चीज आपके दिमाग में बैठ जाना चाहिए अच्छी तरह से. This is known as, this space is the intermolecular space, and the force between them is known as intermolecular force of attraction.
Sir, can we write that as a fact?
Yeah, nahi, I will write this. Particles of matter attract each other. And you please make this illustrative drawing also. That attraction, see, if I attract you, that means there is a force of attraction between you and me. Agreed? That force is between you and me. So human force of attraction, this will be known as, like two magnet poles attract each other, opposite one. Magnetic force of attraction. Charges attract, electrostatic force of attraction. Right? So this will be known as intermolecular force of attraction.
Sir, that one, what is the keyword for that point?
Which one?
For the third point, sir.
Third point.
Yeah, the keyword. Is it
Keyword is there in continuous motion. Continuous motion. That's why you saw the zigzag. See, don't abruptly remember. Try to reconnect. Continuous motion है. आपको किसने बोला? सर इसलिए तो zigzag motion दिखा. Clear? ठीक है? And these two we will be studying a lot. These two properties: intermolecular force of attraction, intermolecular space. And by now, one mathematical relation you must be okay with. If the space is less, the force is more. If the space is more, है ना? हिंदी मूवी में होता है आ जाओ बाहों में, स्पेस इज लेस, अट्रैक्शन इज मोर. ऐसे याद रखने का. स्पेस दूर है ना? सम भूतनी का इज गोइंग दैट साइड, तुम बस दूर से रहते हो, तुम्हारा अट्रैक्शन थोड़ी है उसके बगैर. इफ सुर्पनखा इज वॉकिंग बाय दिस साइड, you will walk by the other side only, na? Obviously. समझ में आया? बहुत अच्छा सर, बहुत कुछ समझ में आ गया. बचपन से इच्छा थी सर इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज में पढ़ो. मशीन का डेफिनेशन बताइए. So let us see something more called particles of matter attract each other. Let's see one small sort of evidence for this. इसका भी एक evidence देखना जायज बनता है. Evidence, right? तो ये ले लो, that मोटा वाला what? What is it? डेयरी मिल्क सिल्की. अब सिल्की वाला नहीं लेंगे, कौन सा लेंगे? तो सस्ता वाला, फैमिली यू नो ना, दैट 100 रुपीज वन, बिग वन. फैमिली वाला को फ्रिज में रख के एकदम टाइट कर लो, मेक इट एब्सोल्युटली टाइट. गॉट इट? द डेयरी मिल्क. एंड जस्ट ब्रेक इट. जैसे ही आप ब्रेक करोगे, आप देखोगे ऐसा कुछ कॉर्नर जैसा निकल जाता है. देयर विल बी अ कॉर्नर फॉर्मेशन. What prevented it? Unless and until any perforation is made. See, dairy milk has got separations between them. So if you break within the separation, you are still assured of getting a straight slit. Otherwise, अगर separation नहीं है, like the handmade chocolates which we get, उसको तोड़ोगे तो कैसा है, टक करके, है ना? It comes out like this. So the question arises, or say if you are trying to break a ceramic mug, don't do that. घर में माँ बाप डांटेंगे. If you try to break it, यहाँ पे हुआ क्या? If you see this fellow, if you see this part magnified, okay, let's see this part magnified. If you see this magnified, there were a lot of particles out here, dairy milk particles. There was a strong force of attraction between these particles. This was getting pulled this side, this was getting pulled this side. When you were applying your force, they were also countering. तुसी जा रहे हो, suppose this one was more vulnerable to be broken, so B, and this was more vulnerable to be retained. Now what is the talk happening between them? तुसी जा रहे हो, तुसी ना जाओ. No, but you know that Zamana is making a lot of, Zamana is Jairib Das, who is trying to crack the dairy milk. So sometimes you will find even breaking will not happen. Even breaking means, now your question would be, sir, did this particle get broken? No, the particle doesn't get broken. Say uniformly, say suppose the force was such that all 5 had to come to my hand, it doesn't happen. Only 3 comes to my hand and 5 are retained. That's how you actually get a corner formation or irregular shape that comes up. Now look at, try to understand this. What was the condition I told to you? Keep the dairy milk in refrigerator and make it tight. Solid बना लो. तो solid अगर आप हो, तो आपका intermolecular force of attraction is rock solid, and your intermolecular space is very less. Suppose if you would have made it semi-solid, it becomes very easy to break it. तुसी जा रहे हो, हाँ जाओ. And gas तो पूछता ही नहीं है. These all we will be studying in the next section. Like when you classify something as solid, something as liquid, and something as gas, what are the striking properties? In solids, you will always see packing is very strong. Packing is very strong. If you pour 1 drop of ink out here, you don't expect the ink to spread across. But had this been a table made up of bread, Then if you drop one drop of ink, the ink spreads across the whole bread. Or you know, blotting papers, have you seen blotting papers? Nowadays you don't write with fountain pens, so there are ink absorbing papers. If you just, or tissue paper, you just put that tissue paper near what you call, the tissue paper means which you get as hand wipes in shopping malls and other, which are rectangular in shapes. They're high good absorbent. Just take some water and put the tissue paper just near water. You will see it will spread all across. वो तो देखते हैं आज जमा ही मेरे आज जमा ही आ जाओ आ जाओ आ जाओ. It has got a lot of space in between them, so it will spread. समझ में आ रहा है? Intermolecular force of attraction is not that strong, but if it is solid, solid मतलब solid. Iron track के ऊपर, railway track के ऊपर, pour some milk. Do you expect the milk to go inside? No. ठीक है? So looking at your faces and the gestures that you all are making, I get a very good vibe that it should be a GL now, because beyond this you all will crash and sleep. So in our next class we will be taking up on properties. We'll get into the classification. Now यहाँ से खत्म हुआ. Next class we'll get into classification of matter, and how will you classify solids, liquids and gases. And look at my condition. After you I have Cambridge 9 and I'm going to teach the same thing. Same thing. They're also chemistry first class. The same concept. और तुम एक क्लास में थक जाते हो. Understood? Righto. So it's independence time. Anya and Yashvi.